You ready to talk?
What's going on? Huh?
You ready to talk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's raining like a motherfucker out here.
Damn. It's raining over here. It's cold.
What's up?
Mr. David Wilder, dude. What about what about baseball? Do you love?
What about baseball do I love? Oh, man. I love going to the yard. I love seeing guys get the balls in batting practice, hearing the balls come off the bat, then spring training, guys getting up early in the morning, getting ready for the season. Man, I love going and watching amateur baseball, flying all over the country, Latin America, getting off the plane, Dominican. You hear the Latin music going as soon as you get off the plane, and that music doesn't stop until you get back on it. You get to the stadium, they're playing the music. They got dance girls, they got cheerleaders. Man, blessed to have been in the game, no doubt. But the game also was blessed to have me in it. They
So,
had no diversity, and I brought it to them. But I did the best I could, and I had pride in what I did. And I was lucky to work for organizations, one in particular, the Atlanta Braves, that taught me how to really do it right. Really do it right. So there's no doubt, I love baseball. Baseball has been my life, was my life. I mean, I worked in baseball, I would say, about 6-7 years. Nobody worked more days than I did. And I'm just being honest. When those other guys left and the season was over with, the Major League scouts, the pro scouts and all, some of them had pro coverage. None of them had coverage where they were going to Latin America, they were going to Arizona, they were going to Mexico. I went to ball. Then come back home and go to the fall league, where I was supposed to have a vacation. I was supposed to be not working, going to the fall league every day. Instructional league. Man, they can say what they want. I paid my dues. I made a mistake. But I paid my dues in the game also. I drove 30 to 50,000 miles a year scout in Northern California, making my bones. Reno, Nevada, 20 degrees up there pitching. Watching the pitches, 20 degrees. Man, you gotta be kidding.
you gotta love it. You gotta love it to do that.
Man, you gotta love it. Man, it wasn't nothing like it. There was other scouts there and stuff. Everybody was there. I wasn't saying I was the only one there. But I got up after that and went to another game.
So in love, I mean, you love the game.
And I was,
So let's get in detail to it. So just the actual game of hitting the ball, throwing the ball. You know, what's the loving part of hitting the ball? Do you love?
I don't understand that question.
Well, meaning like just the aspect of hitting and guys taking their bats and the development and hitting and you know and everything like that. What that part of loving? Describe that to me. The love of hitting.
But love, it's just the love of the game. Hitting is part of playing the game.
I know, but I'm trying to get in detail in each subject of that though, a little bit. You know what I mean? Like just what inspires you about hitting.
Being around some of the best hitters in the history of the game. Hank Aaron, Willie Stargell, Ricky Henderson, Rod Carew, Billy Williams, Ernie Banks,
Wow,
Reggie Jackson.
That's a starting lineup right there, bro. That's a starting lineup right there.
Oh yeah. I had Harmon Kilgrew as one of my hitting coaches when I was with Oakland. Eddie Matthews, old school. Get up there and swing the bat as hard as you can. Eddie Matthews, I don't know if you know who he is, but he's a Hall of Fame. He played with the Atlanta Braves. Man, old school.
Third baseman?
Drinking and playing, yep. Power. If you went up there, you might have 2 hits, and you got 2 little bloop hits, and then you struck out 3 times, and you swung hard at every pitch. Man, he'd come up and slap you in the back when you swing your bat. I struck out 3 times. You don't say that to him, but you think, God damn, I struck out 3 times. He wants you to swing your bat hard. That's the man. That's the way it was.
That's the love.
You guys got all this shit now about hitting, and they go to all these different hitting dudes and all. Man, I listen to them, and you know the back. Man, when I was with Milwaukee Brewers, man, I was with Rod Carew for 2 years, 6 months out of Rod Carew, maybe the highest batting average in the history of the game, the best hitter, just singles. I mean, but I'm not talking about, but could hit. Man, the magician with that bat. He was our hitting coach. I got a chance to sit down and talk to him, be around spring training every day, talk to him, ask him what the most humble man you would ever know. You wouldn't know it was Rod Carew. He would never talk about himself. Man, how many? He got 8 batting titles.
Man.
300 was a bad year for him. I sit there and listen to him. I was 2 times a week. Come pick me up at the stadium. He'd be waiting down. He wouldn't come up to the office. Secretary, he called my office there. Hank is downstairs waiting for you. And you talk about humble. He owned Atlanta, and we go to restaurants, and there'd be a line in a restaurant, and we'd be at the end of the line. Hank would go to the end of the line. And somebody would look back there and see Hank and end up telling the maitre d' or somebody, Hank Aaron's out there waiting. Man, they would come back and say, Mr. Aaron, come on in. Nah, man, how can you come? That's not him. That wasn't him. And he did everything for Atlanta. He was Atlanta. There wasn't nobody else great in Atlanta. No athlete, nobody.
To this day.
When I saw that, I'd be sitting up hot in Atlanta, tied on, sitting and waiting. Yeah, I saw it one time. It happened a couple times in front of the line. Nobody else had to do that. I do. I go up and sit. Hank is back here at the end of the line. Man, 2 seconds. He was like that, man. He was just like that.
So
Spoken, but he swung a big ass. He swung a big stick, the best stick. They always talk about the greatest, this and that, and how Willie Mays and everybody else. Well, Hank's numbers better than all of them. So why ain't the best?
yeah.
RBI, runs scored, home runs.
Hits.
Honestly, if you're the guy and you're run producing, RBIs and home runs are up to the top, and he's the top of both of them. So when they talk about Babe Ruth, they talk about Willie Mays, they talk about everybody, but they care. Why? Why do they do that?
Yeah. Do you have an answer to that? Because you said why. I know you got a theory.
Oh man,
That's
Hank from the South.
okay.
He's low key. He spoke up when nobody else was speaking up because he was feeling it. He got death threats. They talk about how easy it was. You know, it's Atlanta. The ball flew out of there. Yeah, the ball flew, but the pressure that he was under the last year and a half, 2 years, death threats. Man, Willie Mays, nobody played under that under that shit. They said they won't kill his mom. Man, nobody played under that kind of stress. He was losing hair playing a game. They love, there's supposed to be a game. People want to kill him because he's going to break Babe Ruth records. You think about that, man. It's baseball. It's a game. You want to kill a man for doing what he loves to do, and he's bringing joy to people who love the game, and his mom, his dad, his family. This threat. Hey, come on, man. Think about that. In the history of the game, who in any sport, what man has ever been threatened, had his life threatened for playing a game?
Well, Jackie Robinson had some too, though, right? Of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jackie Robinson is also a black man. You didn't get what I was saying.
No. I mean, I know what you're saying. I'm saying, yeah, but I'm just saying, yeah.
No, you're not. That's the game of baseball. The two people that we know of. We got the death threat. And Jackie Robinson was back in what 50-something, 40?
Yeah.
Hank Aaron was 70-something?
Damn.
20 years later.
Yeah.
They still giving death threats.
Barry Bonds got death threats.
Nah, he ain't getting nothing like that. That ain't one or two. No. Them letters or whatever. Come on.
They was more.
Go there.
They was more on steroids. It was more on steroids. That was stressing on steroids.
We ain't going there. He ain't never had to duck and shit. Run in, the police come up to him when he come past home plate. They're escorting him out. Man, give me a man.
Right.
Don't do that.
Right.
Don't do that. Barry Bonds played in San Francisco, man. Hank Aaron played in the Deep South at a time where, man, it was, actually still is, but not nearly as vocal as it once was. But maybe they've all risen up of what's going on and what has gone on in this country. But yeah, Barry Bonds, that became. Barry Bonds wasn't a humble man. Yeah, you put Barry Bonds and Hank Aaron. He broke Hank Aaron's record. That he did, and he had great years. Hank had great years every year, and Hank had no suspected, didn't do no wrong. The other guy, he did what everybody else was doing. So, but from what I gather, I'm a man who went to prison for taking kickbacks, but steroids are illegal. Drugs, amphetamines, that's illegal. Supposedly, if you're using and selling that and buying it, then you commit the crime. I didn't hear anybody talk about that. Honestly, nobody ever got arrested.
Right. Well, yeah, the dude the outside of baseball.
Who?
The guy with the steroids, the Balco, whatever. The guy that they.
I'm talking about inmate. Oh, you said outside. Yeah, Balco. Yeah.
That's the only person that got arrested. Anybody in baseball, nobody got arrested.
Yeah, but nobody got arrested in baseball. That's what I'm saying.
No trainers. No trainers.
What?
Any trainers? No trainers.
Never. Steroids, never. There was a trainer that just got convicted with that Anaheim scandal with the kid that died of OD, the opiates, and he sold them the drugs or whatever. And this is opiates. And he died. They prosecuted him, and they ran in players after players telling their stories that they dealt with the guy, the clubhouse guy that was getting the drugs. And once again I asked, that's against the law. Why weren't they getting prosecuted? Why weren't they getting questioned by the law? They got immunity to like it's a guy that just went and he was a gopher or whatever he was. He had whatever. There was many more people, and they all testified that they used opiates. Nobody, I guess that's not as dangerous to kids and society as taking kickbacks in Latin America. Yeah, that's not nearly as much of a threat to the 13, 14, 12, 11-year-old kids that look up to these guys and they're doing opiates. Nothing happened to them. I mean,
so then I guess
love baseball. I love baseball.
but that takes us into what to hate about baseball, and hate is a strong word. I mean, do you hate a lot of things?
What?
I said that takes us in the subject of hate. You know, do you hate a lot of things? Do you hate baseball? Is there things that you hate in baseball?
I don't hate baseball. The game I love. The people that run it I don't. And I don't hate anybody. Nobody's that part. There's a few people that I would never want to see ever again in my life.
Okay, wait. Before we go there, let's actually talk about the game and then go to the specifics of that. Is there any part of the game that you really dislike? Is it the shift or anything? What part of the game, actual playing the game, that if you were a commissioner?
Oh, that's not actual playing the game. That's not it. It's the people that are running the game that never played the analyticals. They make it. Everybody. They've adjusted to it because you got announcers and everybody else. You got Brian Kenny. You got guys that are pushing that because they never fucking played. Excuse my language. Sorry, they never played, and it justified. He's also a boxing announcer, analyst, and all. I just never could understand how people can read books and then all of a sudden they get hired by big time networks and all, and their opinions matter. How? Never played, never coached, so they've never been under any kind of pressure. It's just not the game. It's intense. There's pressure of playing the game, especially the higher you go. So it's just not playing the game. It's under the duress that you're playing it in also. So people make statements about the game so easy, this and that. It's easy. How? They make it easy because they're special players. But those special players, after they get through playing, some of them get a chance to be announcers, coaches, managers. But there's a certain area of people that don't. Front offices, pretty one-sided. And then the thing that another thing that bothers me, I don't hate, but it does bother me, that when you're listening to games and analysis and everything, and talk about people underachieving. Somebody had a funding ability, but they underachieved. And then you look at the instructors and the managers and the coaches and the GMs and the presidents, and why aren't they held accountable for the development of players? They get paid for it. They don't. It's those players. They pay them the money, and then. But so we got say in a season you got 5 really successful playing the championship. 4 teams go in, 4, and two teams come out and they go to the World Series. So I'd say 4. The rest of the teams, you got 4 more that had pretty good years, and then you got 20 teams that really. I mean, if you want to say they didn't win, and if you don't win, you fail. So, where are they? Who's evaluating those people? Not the players, but the people who evaluate the players. It's a funny thing. You continue to keep the same people in there, then it becomes the same scenario over and over again. And that's what you see. Hating, I don't hate anyone personally, maybe 1 or 2 people. talent. Guys that never played are saying they're going through and doing formulas and they do this war and all this other shit. And they go, this guy is more valuable than another guy. This guy is more valuable than another guy. This guy hit 280 with 56 ribbies and 15 home runs, and he's more valuable than the guy hit 275 with 35 bombs and 100 ribbies. How? Well, on base percentage, walks, all this other stuff. Okay, he's multi-positional. Man, I mean, he might have had a good series. He gets in the playoffs and he does good. But there's 162 games, and them studs, they're getting you through those 162 games. Those 56 RBI guys, they ain't getting you through those 50. You ain't getting 162 games. They're not getting you through that season. They can say what they want.
Yeah, they get those.
I hate that.
They getting those games and those wins on cream puff scenarios. They're not coming through. Like that other dudes came through.
But the thing is, throughout the time in baseball, the big thing was driving and runs.
Yeah.
Throughout bases, driving and runs, some RBIs. Man, they devalue RBIs. They devalue RBIs. And I'm going, who's devaluing? Guys that never played. None of them. You got all these guys evaluating the game. You look on MLB and you got some players and you got the rest, the majority of guys that didn't play, making the decisions and doing all the talking. And then, you know what happens is that people listen to them. They tune into Major League Baseball and listen to Brian Kenny and what's that? There's other guys, but he's the main culprit because he's big on the numbers and all. And the numbers, he's big on them, but he's big on gets paid. He gets paid a lot of money. For what? You don't get hired or fired for making any decision. He can be wrong about plenty of stuff and still get paid because he's throwing it out these numbers and he knows this, he's making his opinion. He don't like this guy. And then people listen to that. Owners or whatever, they hear him and he's on all the time making decisions. I got a guy on MLB, his name is Russo or whatever it is. He's a loudmouth guy like Stephen A. Smith, and he's got written a book and everything. Man, he played. Where he played? What's it stand for? And he's screaming and hollering about valuable players and who's valuable, who's not. And you're like, wait a minute. Have you ever been paid to make a judgment? Have you ever been paid? So I mean, if your decisions are made and you're wrong, there's a chance in a year or so you're gonna get fired. You ain't never. All these dudes make all these claims, but they don't never. Their lives are not on the line. So it's easy. I can do this, man. You can do it. Anybody can do the shit. And I am devaluing those jobs. There's jobs that anybody can go get a guy out, and that's what they're doing. Go get a guy from Harvard that knows how to run numbers and stuff, and then you put him in office for a few years, and he's the GM, man, and looks great. He's a Harvard grad. Only thing is, have you ever seen somebody go get a guy from Harvard that graduated from Harvard and put him in the operation room? For your doctor, you got to go to school. You got to be a doctor. You got to go to school, med school. Baseball, you used to have to go play. Now you don't. Man, you could never be a big league manager and not play professional baseball. Man, they had Murphy. They had a college. They've got college coaches in the big leagues. I mean, they've got guys in the dugout. I think the Giants got a couple guys in the dugout. Instructed, and they had like hell of raves on these guys. They had 1 year. They had they struck lightning in the bottom, and we'll see how good they are this year. We'll see. That happens. I mean, every now and then the people happen. But the thing is, they lost in the first round. They lost to Dodgers at 107 games. And any other year it didn't mean shit if you didn't win nothing. But now here, it's this guy Farhan is a genius. He goes out and gets guys for nothing, and they end up being good. We'll see how long that goes. We'll see how long that goes to win. Because he came from the Dodgers. He didn't make any decisions in the Dodgers. He wasn't anywhere near the decision making on those players when they won. But the Dodgers had the highest payroll in baseball. They could roll the dice on the different people because they had money and they spent it. Now the Giants not spending money, and they had a hell of a year. Surprised the hell on me. I never know how they did it. They had a manager that couldn't win in Philly, and we will see what happens in the next year or two. Because they're crowning him like he's the Holy Grail or whatever off of 1 year. And, I mean, we've all been in the game, and specifically I've been in the game where you didn't win in the playoffs. That 107 wins didn't mean shit. You lost in the first round. The team that finished behind you. So what does that mean?
So let me get.
Seriously.
Yeah, no, you're right. So let me. Here's a question, just to backtrack. Is that so? You really when I say the actual game, you could tolerate how the game is played with the people throwing 98 miles an hour, or just people defensive, maybe not stressing, the shift and everything like that. But you really emphasize just the executive part and the actual the media.
The executive part are the reason why the game is played the way it is now, and that we don't have the athletic people, because those executives are mandating we're gonna trim the scouting department down. We're gonna scout from videos, and that means somebody in the video department who's not a scout can break down a player, and we can draft him. So yeah, not on the because the field is definitely. I mean, the game is definitely diminished as far as athletically. They don't have. I mean, the players from the States, the best athletes in the world, ain't playing baseball. They can say what they want. If there's a reason why kids don't watch baseball anymore, you got guys that are less athletic, made out to be more athletic because they're competing against less athletic guys. And in the words of Sandy Alderson when I first started, well, if we don't sign the high school high ceiling guys athletic and stuff, and then we just zoom in on the colleges and stuff, the fans, we're not going to have, the product is not going to be as well. He said the fans will adjust, and the better players from the colleges will then be the star. And by golly, we go look at the draft and everything else, there's less and less and less high school players, and there's more college players. The college games on TV, it's college, and then you end up going to college and you get to the big leagues in a year or less than a year. You got guys in there, and you get a bunch of guys that are competing against each other. There's some good players still in the big league, but there's not nearly the amount of good players that used to be. You got the best of the worst. You got guys making diving plays. Look at the outfield. Outfield used to be athletic and fast and everything, and they're not now. If they were, then why aren't they in the defensive backfield in football and running back and wide receivers and all? I mean, we used to have guys that Ryan Jordan played DB with Atlanta Falcons, made all pro, strong safety. He came over to Atlanta and played baseball and was a star. Deion Sanders. I mean, athletic guys that dual sport guys. Do we have any of those? They don't even have interest in playing baseball anymore. I wonder why, because we don't market the game in areas where basketball and football they do. And as much as they say they're doing it, they've had ample time to market the game in those inner cities, RBI, all this other stuff. They got guys running RBI and Major League Baseball, and they have some minority guys in there running it. And those guys never fucking played. Excuse my language. Never played. I can get into details, names, but a guy played 1 year in minor leagues, and one guy didn't play ever, didn't play college or anything, and running. So how is he overseeing the development of something that we got to get back into? What is he going on? It's that's a tragedy. That hurts my heart because I do love the game. It's like America. I love America. I'm American. They try to tell me and the people that I represent that we aren't from this country. We built this country. Major League Baseball was great because they brought in the African Americans to play the game, to excite the people, and it did do that. It's hate is a strong word I don't use. I went through a lot for a number of years, and it hasn't killed my love for the game. It's just that I love baseball. They didn't love me back. And that was before all the, not all, the incident that I ended up being fired and actually going to prison for, which was documented that there were a number of teams and executives, even higher than I was, that had been involved in that, but they chose not to indict them. So yeah, I listened to it. I listened to all of this, and I at one time was going to never be involved or think about the game or whatever, but I had a lot of time to think about what I had accomplished and what I've gone through and the sacrifices that I made. They can it's all documented. As an executive, scout, player development, player personnel man, general manager, I can put my resume up against any of them. I didn't get an opportunity to do it. How many of them got an opportunity and failed? A whole lot of them. I can say I interviewed 5 general managers' jobs. 4 of them got fired within 3-4 years. They failed with less of a resume. With less of a resume. Yeah.
So the love, you said hate is a strong word, but just some things you definitely strongly dislike, and people, for that matter. And
well, I can say heartbroken. Say hate, I'm heartbroken.
Right.
The game has broke my heart. People have broken my heart. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, I get it.
There was no time. They could never tell me that I didn't outwork people and I didn't go out and work and bust my ass, because I did. Nobody could ever tell you that wasn't true.
So then, okay. So the game, the love of it, beautiful game. The side of it that it's funny, me being a player and just being on the bottom half of that. It's funny, you just never address not appreciating the game like that, but just the people that's running it, because they're responsible for the way the game is going.
They make the decisions. So, this is the only in sports that you can fool the general public by putting out products and putting out information that may be false or maybe half untrue or undocumented and still be able to be and have jobs and continue to have the same type jobs and turn over and over with the same type people running the game.
Wait. Slow down. Because now, you mean to tell me this is the only sport with basketball, football, no other sport is in your understanding is?
No, I didn't say only sport. I said sports.
Okay.
Baseball, basketball, football, they're all in. Football and basketball just so happen to go get the best players and the best athletes to play. But they still have the underqualified people teaching, coaching, administrating the game.
Okay, I understand.
All of them.
I understand. Okay.
And they don't get and because of the media. And you know, what's the guy? The successful business guy who was so successful, he had millions and millions of dollars and never was able to make $1 billion with $350 million. He said the media is crooked. It's crooked now against somebody that is well known, well, the well known guy at one time during the course of this 4 years he was in office. But that's the only time the media was wrong. False media. You think you think false media just started? Man, where's the media about that? Where's the media that ever looked on having a stat? Well, we got all these people, and we got all these teams, we got all these players, and some of them, and they're unsuccessful. They get fired. What about the people that are in charge of them? How do they continue to be in the game?
Just let me tell you a fantasy world. Fantasy world is every sport, major sport, has one commission that oversees the evaluation of everybody in the good spirits of sports to be fair and equality and all the things. If had one.
But they can't have that guy who's being paid by the owner. Because ultimately, if they have a guy that's being paid by the owners, what decisions do you think he's going to make?
Right.
I agree with that. How we come about it, maybe Congress. There's so much money involved.
Right.
We got gambling involved in it now.
Right.
So why not?
Right. Why can the government be overseer of everything and have?
Man.
But then
there's more. I mean, if you talk about athletics and everybody's playing in this country, that could be justified. But those owners are powerful. That money is powerful.
So the love. Okay, so here's the final take tonight. Is this one? So now, and this is probably I don't care how we end. I just like how we end. But here we go. So. Love, hate, or love, dislike. But now, who made the decision on making it? I mean, I know it's the owners or whatever, but when did you think they had a realization that they wanted to do it this way? You know, you think it was a manipulated plan always to just get blacks out of the game, or was it something where?
Well,
how did it come about?
I mean, I can just only go with facts. They go with numbers. The analytics that's taking over the game. So just go back and see when they stopped drafting the high school athletes, because never has there ever been a heavy amount of African Americans in college baseball.
Right.
So that was 1989, 90, at the height. Ricky Henderson, man, they you look at the game, how many young stars.
I was drafted at 18 and 88. I mean, at 17, I was drafted in 1988 at 17.
Yeah.
So they was drafting athletes, I guess, at that time, maybe a little bit, or they was ending it, huh? In the 88, 90s?
Yeah. You ended up signing. You were draft follow out of high school.
Right.
You still have draft follow. that's a control mechanism. They can draft guys and throw all the numbers in the hat and pick one out. Somebody's going to be better than those 10 that they draft. They draft 10 draft and follows and let them go to junior college, and one or two of them going to develop, and then they can sign them.
Yeah. Yep.
That's eliminating the amount of players that you can sign.
You know what's crazy about what you're saying now, and I think I'm there, and I know you already know, but just for the for anybody that just is thinking neutral, you're saying that if we did follow the when the height of drafting young athletes in high school, black athletes, for just to get right to it, in the height of that, in some kind of way, the analytics figured out that either it didn't make sense in some type of way of the money train. Maybe it was training, maybe it was the actual money they were spending, and actual results they was getting out from the players, maybe the amount of coaches they had to deal with it, and maybe the amount of problems they had with them. They felt like it didn't make sense, or dollars, for them to do it this way. Is that kind of right?
The dollars?
I mean, I'm following the money. No?
Because they end up spending more money. The signing bonuses are much heavier in the college ranks than they are in high school anywhere right now.
So it's not about money. Don't take.
A lot of money.
I hope it's about money, dude. I hope it's about money, dude. If you're trying to tell me that it's about something else, I'm gonna be. My mouth is gonna be wide open. It's got to be about money, right? It's got to be. It ain't money.
You can't be serious.
What else is it? What else?
Man, there's two sports that show you, given the opportunities, there's guys out there dominating the game. Baseball's always been, from what I gather, they've had 2 or 3 commissioners that came out as being racist. So, when you have a racist commissioner, who hires the commissioner? The owners hire the commissioner. So do I want to see Lil Johnny out there, or do I want to see Lil Ricky? Lil Johnny wins. Never has it been as many people questioning someone when they get a large amount of money as there has been in African Americans. They're quick to say how much money, and you can look on the radio, listen to on TV. Who do they quickly talk about? If somebody signed, he's making this amount of money. It's as though you're not supposed to make that money. The other person deserves it, you don't. But we live in a country that we fight for the country. We die for the country. But they don't die for us. Just keeping it real. People can get mad about it, whatever. And I always say, how you going to get mad at me and tell me what is going on with me and the people I love and the people I am, and you're not? There's always people that aren't of color making decisions for people of color. You got people instructing people of color that aren't of color constantly. You got people instructing people who are playing with people who didn't, who aren't qualified. And that's in baseball, that's in basketball, that's in football. The other sports have more than baseball, but they should. They got more players. They've not eliminated because their games are the most popular games in the world. Football is dominant in this country. That's football is. Basketball is played all over the world. Wonder why they start playing after the Dream Team won the gold. Who's on that Dream Team? I mean, so when you talk about that, money is the root of all evil, but evil ain't the root of money. Evil is in people. Prejudice is in people. Racism is in people. And that part of it is until it's going to take something that's drastic and brought out, which I don't know, quite honestly, that my heart is broken from this country. We got 70 million guys, people voting for Donald Trump, who we know is not for the betterment of our country. Everybody. It's heartbreaking because you look around and you see what's going on. Go up and watch Cal baseball and you see the pack coming in and amount of players, and see high school, and after high school, where do guys go play? And why are you going to push a guy, a hell of an athlete, to go play baseball, and then baseball offers him a 30, 40, 50, 60% scholarship, so his family's got to pay for 50%. When you go play football, you get 100%. Baseball is more of an elitist game. You got pay for play. You don't have a little league. Guys don't go out there and play. You go play baseball now. You got to pay for everything. And there is lower class still here, and there's lower class for a reason, man. Rich need people that don't make money in order for them to have higher return on investment. If I don't pay you as much, then I get that money. Then if you can't get that, if you're living in a low income place, how can you pay for Johnny to go to college or pay that 50% tuition? You got a 50% scholarship, and they're going, well, you're playing basketball, football, because you get a chance to get a scholarship and get your college paid for 100%.
Or even buying weird bats for them to break bats and stuff, and you ain't got money to pay for rent.
Man, 100, 200, man, come on, man. It's ridiculous. That in itself is change.
I mean, if a person has pride and they don't want to, ask for help or something like that, they'll change sports. They'll make a kid change sports that could easily be in baseball and be the next star, but he want to play basketball or football because it's easier, cheaper.
Oh yeah, and then they tell you if you play baseball, you got to go play summer baseball. You got to play winter baseball. You can't play football. You got to make up your mind and make a decision. And it used to be, in the good organizations, you wanted to see a guy play another sport.
So,
like I said, I was blessed. I was with Atlanta, and I had a scouting director. We liked dual athletes. Go see him play. We could go see a guy play and turn in the fees and the costs to go to a basketball game because we were going to scout these guys playing other sports, seeing what kind of competition they did, what kind of player, what kind of athlete they were. Man, they could care less. They want to see a guy play baseball. That's it. And then you're playing and you're traveling and you're going to all these tournaments and stuff. And, man, you're spending a lot of money. Man, I know when I was growing up, my mom and dad couldn't afford that. We had all-stars. Our all-stars travel and stuff. It was like the rodeo, which was about 20 minutes away, 20 miles away. That was a big all. That's what we used to play for in Little League. Get to rodeo. We win a tournament, we get to go rodeo. That was it. Little League World Series. Berkeley baseball, we never went to the Little League World Series. I played on a high school team. We finished in second place. We had 9 guys drafted off the team. we had a high school algebra teacher teaching baseball. So, yeah, it's a heartbreaker. And I wouldn't say.
But here's just to
I don't
backtrack.
know.
Backtrack. It's hard. Me loving the game. I love baseball too. I love just the actual game. I love it. But then it's hard for me to take that. I mean, as much as I know it's not far fetched, just to say that it's a calculated plan to eliminate blacks away or definitely keep them at a low rate. I mean, I can see them saying maybe keep them at a low rate, but just trying to eliminate them, knowing how much history they got in the game. I mean, it can't. I mean, what's the percentage of blacks in the?
Well, let me ask you this: and why every year the percentages go down? These are rich, powerful, smart. They go hire people from Harvard to run the game. The people from Harvard can't come up with why they're not playing.
Well, here's what I
Major League Baseball, you put in a certain amount, you go build complexes in Dominican and Venezuela and all these other places, but you go put in a facility in Compton. Okay, who's playing in Compton? Northern California. Do we have one here? I think as far as the area, we got more big leaguers. We got more Hall of Famers than anybody. There ain't never been one here. They go to Chicago and put one in. Chicago ain't never had been no hotbeds. They had some big leaguers come out of Chicago, but they ain't never been as much as Northern California.
And here's the devil advocate.
They got somebody they put one in Florida, and they got somebody running in Florida. That's Dodger Town, and they got somebody that never played the game running it.
So in devil's advocate, I'm thinking, okay, they did the RBI thing, trying to go to inner cities. They got little dibble projects. They probably don't trust people with money because it's just so much corrupt stuff in there with that. But then my thinking is, yeah, I mean, it's like, well, it could be like 3%, 5%. I don't know the numbers of how many blacks is in Major League Baseball. But it's just, it's like, I think the people, like you said, Harvard people, maybe, and this is I'm hoping when they did the analytics thing, it did eliminate blacks. So maybe they did, I don't think they maybe did it subconsciously, but it probably just did for whatever reason, for what they looking at in the analytics. Maybe blacks don't show well on paper. I don't know. You know, not well enough.
I don't know how that is. When blacks were at the height, they were getting inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Right. So
you can't tell me that. That's a false.
So you don't think
you can put up equations and analytics to make anybody look better than what they are and worse what they are.
Right.
So I mean, the bottom line is you go give RBI all this money and whatever, and all you had to do was go put some fields and upgrade fields, baseball fields, and Little League. How much it costs to be Little League? We paid for our uniforms or whatever, chin fit, whatever it was. But travel and thousands of dollars that they got to go pay to play. Man, that wasn't researched enough because it didn't matter enough. Come on, man, we're talking about a country that doesn't even want to go back and redo and correct history books and this country's history because it might make a certain culture look worse than what they actually are, and their kids will study that. And their great grandfather probably was responsible for keeping people down. So, you want to believe that, you can believe in the fairy because it's the truth. People don't want to believe it, and they keep doing it, deny. And those same people deny. The thing is, you can deny. But you can't tell me when you consistently try to tell me who I am, what I am, and what I do, when you ain't never walked in my shoes. You don't walk into the room and interview, and the first thing they see is your color. You write out an application, you say that you're African American. Everything you do, you write out what you are. Instead of, I'm a American. That's what we all are here. So yeah. Conscious effort. You don't want to believe it. You don't want, but the numbers, as they say, don't lie. And as football was in the process of getting tore down because of the concussion era, did baseball make a conscious effort to try to get those guys to play baseball? Evidently not, because they failed. And you're talking about owners that don't fail very often because they're very rich. You don't make a serious effort to succeed in that manner. It doesn't happen. It hasn't happened.
So now for the get on your side. So if they were to make conscious effort, there's nothing in the world tells me that it wouldn't be more black kids playing the sport, and it would be more than a lot, because it would be they're good athletes, and the best athletes are just like it'd be 50-50 if you want to be on nationalities. I think it'd be 50% black and then 25% white, 25% Latin, and there you go. Maybe 5%.
If they did it, if they made a conscious effort to do that, but now the Latin players are 40% of the big league.
Yep.
But getting to that, where is their representation? They just went through a collective bargaining agreement, and they had one Latin guy on the board with the Players Association, and that was Lindor. Who is he with? The Mets now, and he's from Puerto Rico, and he went through the draft. He didn't go through the international draft. So how is he representing? He didn't even go through the process. They got 40% of the major league players are Latin players, and where is their representation?
Nothing changed, huh?
So they can play. And that's all we want you to do. You're not making no decisions.
They got that all locked in. That ain't changing at all.
Man. The thing about it is baseball, they play baseball in those countries. They play basketball too, though. They don't play football. They play basketball over there. The NBA ain't fucking going on, excuse my language, sorry. The NBA, I don't see them making a broad statement to go get the Latin players to play basketball. And no disrespect to Latin players, because they got a rich history in this game also, and they continue. They're playing. So, there's no disrespect at all. But I'm a black American. I'm an African American. And my family runs deep throughout this history and in the military. They're not football. I don't see a heavy recruitment. And they're trying to make as much money. And basketball is much popular, more popular international than any baseball. They play basketball everywhere. Well, why isn't there 10% Latin players? the United States of America has won Olympics and have the best athletes because the best athletes are in America. That ain't changed, and it will never change as long as, sorry, don't get your feelings hurt, that we're here.
That's game.
Can't put no numbers on running, hitting, and throwing, and catching the ball and shooting the ball. You can't deny that. Just like in the history of the NBA, all of a sudden, when they had to dunk, everybody's dunking, they can't shoot. So the three-pointers, they threw the three-pointers in there to maybe even the game out and get a little bit even on the numbers. That athlete from basketball said, well, we'll just start shooting more. We'll start learning. We'll start shooting outside more. Best shooter in the history of the world is over here in San Francisco. And he just bypassed second best, which was Ray Allen, who bypassed the third best, which was Reggie Miller. But there was a knock on they can't shoot. That misnomer was soon to be dissolved. It's a travesty.
That's true.
You can't even go to the Little League Park now and see them play anymore because they don't play in the park. You gotta have some money to go play.
Not only that, it ain't no strikeout no more, man. Ain't nobody playing in the school against the wall. Nobody get it,
Well, why are you going out there to play strikeout when you don't have? You don't see nobody on TV looking like you.
Yeah, I used to be Ricky Henderson.
You darn sure see it in basketball and football. You don't see it in baseball. If I'm going to go out there and play baseball, one, I'm going to have to go pay for it to go play. And two, it don't look like I'm ever going to get a chance to play there.
Yeah, I used to hit like Ricky Henderson. I used to hit like Hank Aaron. I used to try to hit like him. I used to try to hit like Darius Strawberry. I used to try to hit like people, and brothers. I used to love Ricky Henderson's stance, man. That was my stance, bro.
I don't know how you get down that low.
I used to get wide, baby, and just, the key is get that flick, because he stood up sometime too. Get that little flick with the little bat. That shit was cold, dude. Yeah. That was the coldest stance, dude, in the world.
Oh, yeah, but when he wanted to hit, there was an important at bat, you didn't see him stand up. He got down low. So you're gonna have to throw a ball right where he wants it.
Period.
Yeah. They don't have anybody close to Ricky Henderson playing the game.
Man, dude, what the hell, dude? How everybody standing up, dude? What the hell?
Oh, because some people, hidden coaches and all, you get there and try to do that. Hell, I remember when I came from Fullerton, and I went to Idaho Falls, and I crouched down. If Fullerton would let me crouch down, the hidden coach is John Huckleberry. And I looked up I'm like, and we were 1 through 5 in the country the years I was there, and we got a hidden coach too. And none of the organizations I ever been with knew who he was. But he gonna tell me you can't hit like that. And I went to Idaho Falls and did Ricky hit 350 that year. Shit. Harmon Killebrew saw me and he was like, you got to stand up. He wanted everybody to hit like him. What can you do? What can you do?
Right. 356 and they want to change it.
It's a vicious cycle.
Man, dude, that's some cold stuff, dude. It was brilliant stuff, dude. This was stuff that this is the one, bro. So I wanted to end it on right before you said what you just said. So I go ahead and end it now, though, too. But that shit was cold, dude. I was mesmerized from you for a little bit. Let me see.